searching for this life.
Hey guys, hello, welcome. I am so excited to be just welcoming you to our very first podcast episode of Women Wired to Win. And you guys, this podcast was created for the female entrepreneur, really to just elevate and inspire the Christian woman. And we really want to focus on the 5 areas of self-leadership. And so I just want to say thank you for tuning in today. And I just can't wait to share with you one of my best girlfriends that's going to be joining me today. And she's going to be teaching you everything that you need to know, guys, about this one key thing today. And so I'm going to bring her on right now. Her name is Katie Miller. She is a Christian certified health and wellness coach. And I couldn't be more happy to have her as my very first guest today. Katie, I'd love for you just to share just a little about yourself with everyone today.
Yeah, thank you so much, Susan. I literally have chills as I'm listening to you because I know how much this is needed and how long this has been bubbling up inside of you to do. So kudos to you for doing this. I love seeing God's work done on time for the right time. So I am, like she said, Katie Miller. I am a wife and I live in Cincinnati, Ohio. We have 4 boys. They range in age from 22 to 11. And so we have a very full life of amazing daily things that we're always rocking and rolling. So I have been in the health and wellness industry for, I believe I actually nailed it down yesterday, for almost 15 years. So definitely a long journey. I started out with myself. And then I went through and just started literally, I was like, if I can do this, anybody can do this. If I can do this, anybody can do this. And so then about 10 years ago is when I really started to find myself even more. At the beginning, I found my health, and then I started to find my wealth and my worth. And that came really through figuring out who I was. And that came as I started to be able to build an MLM, network marketing company. So that's why my heart is so much into network marketers, because there's so much that can be inspired for women in those places.
Absolutely, for sure. And I met Katie, gosh, it's been almost a year and a half now. And I remember it's just there's certain people that you just connect with in life. And Katie was one of them. And I can remember the first time that we had a conversation over the phone. I think we talked forever. And so it's just been really fun watching even your journey, even over the last year and a half. And so I'd love for you just to tell us a little bit more, Katie, tell us a little bit about yourself now. Like, what are you doing now? How do you help female entrepreneurs win big?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Yeah. So again, it was part of my journey, became my story, right? We always say there's a mess in our message, and so to our message. And so that was really where our company, unfortunately, the network marketing company that I was with, we went from a multi-level to a singular level. Like literally, when God says it happens in an instant, it happened in an instant. Although I'll kind of go into a little bit of my training later about that, because I saw it coming. But when it happened and it ended in an instant. And I did have to go through a grieving process. And so if that's ever happened to you, just know that grieving is totally fine. And you're going to have your highs and your lows, and you're going to think, okay, I'm Gucci. And then you're going to be like, no, I'm not. And then it literally it's been an experience, and it's been almost 4 years. No, almost, it was 5 years, 5 years in May. And guys, I'm literally just starting to feel like the girl that I was back when I first started then. So it was a journey. And so now what I do, did you ask me what I do now?
Yeah. So yeah, tell us, how do you help women now?
So now what I do now is, because of my feet, I kind of felt like a baby giraffe, and trying to figure out, because I knew God still had this calling in me. And I was like, he's not done yet. I'm not done yet. He's not done with me yet. And so one day, I locked arms. Well, I kind of back up. I decided that I was going to create a life coaching program with another mentor at the time. And that just somehow kind of went astray. And God was like, no, not right now. It's just not the right time. And then I was like, okay, so now is the time I should be building my own business and building my own brand. And I literally bumped into a lady and one of those famous ads that we find on,
Yeah.
on social media. And I was like, how to do videos. And I was like, okay, I need to know how to do videos. And so literally the camera that I'm using now, I'm like, this is like Botox in a bottle and you don't even have to do anything to your face. You just put it in.
Yeah.
So it was one of those things, like, this is all part of the program still, a year and a half ago that I found. And so I started that. And then a couple days later, it was just, I got this message. And it was like, we're hiring. And I was like, they're hiring. What are they hiring for? And it was every part of just empowering women and helping them build their businesses and helping. And I was like, I mean, you would have thought that somebody had sat next to me for the past, 4 or 5 years and written down everything that I had done. And so that's literally where I've been over the past year and a half, journeying through that, and really God opening up just different areas and avenues to my heart and to who I am as a person, to really help empower women, help them to learn that they're not alone. That building a business, you feel like you're alone, but you're definitely not alone. You feel like you're in business by yourself, but you're definitely not. And so I say we because Susan's with us as well. We create, dreams to actually come to reality, and to show them that there's simple steps, that we don't need to be bogged down in this crazy world of buy this or do this, or is this a good enough, or is that going to help me, or is this person, like, really just learning how to help women be like, okay, just take a deep breath. It's going to be okay. And then along the side of that, my passion, where I feel like our wealth really comes from, is our health. And if we don't have our health, I'm just going to tell you, we don't have anything. And if that C word didn't teach us something 4 years ago, it was that if we don't have our health, y'all, we don't even have toilet paper or paper towels. Like, we got to get our health together. And so that's really where my passion has gone back to as well, is teaching women that, yeah, we're all busy. And that word is, it's goofy for me. I don't even like to use it anymore, because I'm like, if you're busy, you don't have time to say you're busy, right? It's all about priorities. And so I help women to prioritize what's important, why it's important, and then to show them how literally simple it is to be their best version, to be physically fit and well. And inflammation, you guys, just literally, it drops off of them like chains just become broken. You can just watch it in their faces. And so that's really where I'm at right now, is helping women in those kind of two avenues. So super fun.
And it's been so fun. It's been so fun. Just watching you get those things moving and shaking. And Katie and
Yeah.
I, like a year ago or so, like I said, a little over a year ago, it was just like, I could see so much in her. I think you could see so much in what I was wanting to do. And it's like, we just, this, amazing relationship, friendship kind of just blossomed. And so it's been so fun watching what you've been doing, especially over these last couple months, just watching you grow and really taking that skill set to help other women. So what I'd like to do now, Katie, honestly, is I really would love for you to we want to dig deep today, guys. This is something that Katie and I are really passionate about. And even though this is it is a very serious topic, to really help you to create that success that you're looking for, not even just in your business, but it starts with life. And it starts with, I'm going to actually allow Katie to talk to you about this really one key thing that I feel is really why God has opened up so many doors, Katie, so quickly for you. And so I'm going to let you just talk to them about that today. What is it that you've learned along the way, or have had to relearn over and over again?
I love that you say God opened up doors, because goodness sakes, he has also shut many doors. And I'm like, well, no, wait. And then I go back and try to open them. But that is, it's your foundation. And like I tell people, and you can't, it's biblical, y'all. It's biblical. And I'm going to go biblical on us, because at the root of who we are is Jesus. He lives inside of each and every one of us. And if we can't grasp that, then that might be the reason why you keep tripping up on certain things. And so it's been a lot of our healing. And this, I didn't just pop on earth and be like, yes, I love Jesus and I know all the things about Jesus. This has been an ongoing process, and it's been a snowball that's been building and just bubbling up inside of me. And now you just can't get it out of me. And it's an amazing thing. And it comes from that building a rock, building your I mean, it kind of goes back to, I always equate it to what is that? The big bad wolf or whatever, that would blow your house down. And that was a story that we learned as babies, but it's really the truth. Like, he's going to huff and he's going to puff. And when the enemy comes and you let him in the littlest, teeny, tiniest ways, he will learn how to blow your house down. And so I've learned that, and I'm learning, I should say too, is that there's times where I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. And I may look at, like, be that girl where they're like, oh gosh, that's rude. Why wouldn't she do that? Because I have, which we're going to talk about, is values. And it's not just be like, I'm better than you. That has nothing to do with it. I've had to learn from messes to create a strong foundation. It comes like when you're building a home, right? When you're going to build a home, us as women, we're like, okay, and we're going to paint the bedroom this, and we're going to have these curtains. And your husband's like, yo, whoa, we got to get a plan. Where's our blueprint? And then where are you going to put your land? Where are you going to build this rock on? And you want to make sure that you build your business on a strong rock. And how do you do that? Like my business with the company that I was with, that went, basically, I call it going under. They didn't go under, but they got in trouble. And because they had let the enemy slip in. And I love to talk, so I also have to drink water.
Yeah.
So
that's okay. I got mine too.
There you go. The enemy is always there, ready. He's ready. And he does not come running in on a red cape. Let me just tell you that. However, when I was talking to you about that business, when I said it was gone in an instant, we have discernment. It's one of the things that God literally filled us with. When some people say it's a gut instinct, right? Or they'll be like, oh, their vibe, or whatever you want to call it. Call it what you want. It's called discernment when it comes from the Lord. Yeah. And he built it within us. And I had a gut feeling 1.5 years before that instant happened, that May of 2019. And what happened is we had a Christian singer, and we used to have a Sunday service. I have chills even telling you this. We used to have a Sunday service, and we came back after that corporate thing, and they said that was the last time, and that we were never going to have a corporate service. And it was not mandatory, right? It wasn't like go and da-da-da. It was voluntary. Right. And it was the most beautiful thing. And it was an AT&T stadium. And literally if y'all have ever been to AT&T stadium, Texas is one of my favorite states, and everything is big in Texas. And Texas AT&T stadium is one of the biggest stadiums out there. They had every window. I have chills. Every window was like, they made it into like stained glass windows. So as a Sunday service, we have 30,000. Well, there weren't 30,000, but there were a lot at that time because not everybody was there. All these people, all this company that was on its way to be $1 billion. And we had big, major like endorsers, and like Drew Brees was one of them, like big ones, right? Drew Brees is an amazing Christian man. And guess what? As soon as we came back, they took it away. All it took was probably one complaint or one wrong whisper from the enemy, and it literally started the destruction of the company.
Yeah.
You can't make it up. I watched it happen. And that is why I'm so passionate about integrity. Girls, guys, I know it's mostly girls though, I'm sure. It goes from the beginning. When you wake up in the morning, what you got to have your priorities in alignment. Your priorities and have to do with order, which has to do with foundation. If it's chaotic, you won't hear me use the word chaos or chaotic or confusion, because any of those, if those are happening, that's the enemy. If your life is chaotic, if something is confusing, or if you're living in chaos, those things are the enemy. Because I always say, if it's not good, it's not God. Okay. And God does not want God does not want chaos. He wants clarity. He doesn't want busy. He wants simple. I promise you. Okay. So we start from the beginning when we wake up in the morning. What are we doing in the morning? What are those first? One of my really goodness sakes, she's such a godly woman. She always teaches me. She says, Katie, what are your first waking thoughts? And I'll give a shout out to her, Kelly Ricketts. She's amazing. I said to her, Kelly, my first waking thoughts are usually negative. I'm like, they're usually like not good. And like, I know how to think positive. I know I've been through that mindset training, I teach it now and I preach it. And she's like, that's okay. Now you've acknowledged it. Now it's time to work a little bit deeper. That's the coolest part about network marketers is that was one of the things is like, I always say, like, if we're not growing, we're dying. And in network marketing, the women that we surround ourselves, the reason why we love the community of women is because we're constantly growing. We're constantly like, okay, I woke up in the morning and all I think about is negativity or whatever, whatever. And guess what? God put it upon me to do a daily devotional. No joke. Monday through Friday weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Y'all are absolutely invited to join. And the replays are always on my Facebook. But literally 30 minutes, God was like, no, we're going to have you pray. We're going to have you get out of bed and we're going to stop your stinking thinking, Katie Miller. And I'm like, yes, sir. So that's what I've been doing. And I've been showing up now for 51 days. And it's the funniest thing because I used to be like, I'm not getting on camera. I'm not getting on camera. I don't care to talk, but I'm health and wellness and I have 4 boys. So do you think I show up like Susan every day? No. Susan shows up with all her hair done, her makeup and all her looking Gucci all day long. Me, I got a hat on. I got sweatpants on. I got leggings. I mean, it's not Gucci. So for me to show up online, I was like, oh, Lord, yes, Lord, I'll do it. But it's helped me from the moment I wake up. And I'm going to take you a step further. And you just wave me down if I'm going too far and too long.
No, I thank you so much. I had the worst coughing fit. You guys, I've been battling a really bad cold the last couple of days. So thank you, Katie. Keep going, girlfriend.
It's all right. If you just need a tap, if you're like, Katie, tap out, you're done. I'll be like, okay, I can go or I can stop real quick. So
I know.
It's cool because I had to back up even further because I was also taught through that time in my grieving time through mentoring and all that kind of stuff was that my house was out of alignment. And I was like, oh my goodness. They're like, Katie Miller, you can pray all you want, but your husband is in charge. And as you can tell, I'm a D personality, and I'm sure you've been around Susan. She teaches and preaches that. But D's are driven, right? But as driven as we are, as dominant as we'd like to be, or as, all those things. And so I'm like, I do let him do those things. I do let my husband, and they're like, not enough. Not enough. And so it's all about an alignment. And so I'm still working on it. It's a daily thing, but it's so different, you guys. Why? Because this is all part of that strong foundation. Getting up, how I'm getting up in the morning, getting into which I'm going to get into next, getting into the Bible. That's how we grow our faith. That's literally, y'all want to build more, y'all want to have more money. These are money making things that have to happen. If your business is not growing, if your business is kind of stagnant, and we know stagnant water is not good at all, it's nasty. Or if your business is deteriorating, it's probably because you're out of alignment. You might have to go back and start building this foundation. And you might have to start plucking some thoughts out of your head, some thoughts out of your mind, and some people out of your business. Or, you might have to do that. Family members, you might have to put it, I always say, keep them at arm's length.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. My mom and my mom and my sister and my grandma, they made fun of me forever. Which is so funny now because my mom literally begs me for my link for the company that I was with now to take some of their vitamins. I'm like, I told you they were good. But it's so funny. But I kept them at arm's length. And we can't let bitterness and any of those things come into play with us because, again, it will deteriorate our foundation and it's not worth it. Because when we have God rooted in our foundation, and that you think it's protection, that's the enemy whispering to you. When God is in it, you will know it. Why? Because it's so good and so strong and things are just coming into place and it's simple. If it's not simple, because we live in a hustle world and I'm a hustler. I got hustle words all over my house. I love to hustle. But honestly, at the root of it, if it's not simple, we're out of alignment and God's not in it.
Yeah, for sure. And I love everything that you're teaching, Katie. It's so good. It's so good. And, it's interesting when you listen, right? When you're listening and get quiet. You got to get quiet, right? And it's in those quiet moments that you have that revelation and God can really speak to you, or you start to listen. And I know for me personally, not that I don't or haven't built my business on the right foundation. I do believe that's why I've had a lot of success over my career. But what I do know for sure is that when you have that right foundation, you're going to get way more done in way less time. And also, because all that confusion and chaos is not from God, right? And so we start to pack things in, filling our schedule and that kind of thing. But and Katie, you and I have talked about this so many times, it's so amazing and so crazy that over this last year, really over these last few months, when I made this conscious decision, most of the time we get into business for ourselves because we want to be in control of our time and control of our business. And how many times we find ourselves in that place where our business starts to own us, right? And, your priorities start to get, I don't want to say they get out of order, but let's be honest, sometimes they do. And so going back to that foundation of saying, we're going to put God first, family second, career third, and watch and see all the amazing things that God does and how much he, allows you to get done and all the blessings that come from that. And so I know that you and I have talked about that so many times, right? And even for myself, scaling back my workload of how many hours I'm committing myself to certain things and just watching God still continue to bless that effort and actually bring in even more, right? So I think that's kind of a little bit what you're saying there, at least in my own personal.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the quantity over quality. When you do the
Mhm.
right thing because it's the right thing to do, and it's
Yeah.
rooted in God, and God is there, and you get these things in alignment, ladies. There's no need to be beating our heads. If you're beating your head against the wall, I would pivot. And if y'all don't have, now I have this version because I'm still a baby. I have a crazy, wild story of how Jesus came to me, but I'm still a baby. I call myself, I'm still a baby. So I don't have the King James version. However,
Mm-hmm.
if you do, if you're good with that, I don't. But this Bible, it for being a network marketer, or a business person, you need this. There you go. See, Susan's got it too. Even a mama, like you're a leader in your family. Just because your husband comes first, right, in the order of how God is, doesn't mean that you're not a leader, right? Like you got to get rooted in the Bible. All of every problem that we have, the answers are right here.
Mm-hmm.
The answers are right here. And it comes down to my biggest things with my going back to the foundation is like, okay, so you wake up and you're like, you spend your time with God, you're praying, right? Like if you want to grow your faith, it's literally through reading your Bible and praying. That's how you're going to grow your faith. Because if you're like, Kitty, I don't even know how to start. And if you don't know who Jesus is and you need either one of us to help you, we will absolutely help you. Okay, we can help you with that. But you go, you walk through, wake up in the morning. I'm literally going to take you through this. You wake up in the morning, you're serving the Lord. That's first, right? You're giving him your time. You're growing your faith. Then you are, then it's your husband. Then it's your kids. Then it's your business. And there was a lot of times in my AvoCare business, people would, oh, I just said the word. It's all right. It's all right. You can go look me up and you know the company I was with. But I was in the business and the people would be like, Katie, how are you growing your business? And I was like, I have no idea. I had no idea because it's all I did all day long. It was not duplicatable.
Yeah.
Not duplicatable. And my kids, I mean, thank goodness they know now. It's helped me now with being an entrepreneur. But I mean, there was a lot of times I'm like, I don't even know what I did today because I was so out of alignment. And it's growing.
Mm-hmm.
And why I say you have to go that faith and God is for that is because, and that's going to help build that stronger foundation, is because if it's not growing, God's not in it, right? Like you haven't been
Mm-hmm.
seeking him. It's you haven't been tithing, like you haven't been impacted. Like it's all part of it. It's all part of the process, you guys. Like it's not a lie. The world that we're living in right now, take a look around. It's not a lie what's going on. It's not a lie that the battle is not against flesh and blood. We're wrestling with powers.
Mm-hmm.
You either have, there's two teams. This is what I love because I'm that athlete in me. Like you got two teams. You got Team Jesus and you got Team Enemy. You choose. That's it. And that's the spiritual realm, and that's what we're living on right now. And you want to keep this. I mean, I would think, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I would think that I want to keep this dude out of my business as much as possible because I want more impact. Because more impact is going to give you more income and more freedom and more choices for your family. And that comes back to what's rooted in you, which is your values.
Yeah.
Which is integrity. When somebody is saying something, when I went back to that gut feeling and you're like, that doesn't feel right. It's okay to stand out and be different. God will award you for doing that.
Right.
Somebody else might get awarded. You might think they're getting awarded. Like you could see it happening, but I promise you, God's like, I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to take care of you. And he does.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I love it.
He's like, when, the hustle, that's why it's not, I love to hustle. And then I'm learning like, Katie, but a guy doesn't hustle. And I'm like, I know, but I love to, because I'm fast. I like to fast. But I know that fast doesn't last. Right.
Right.
So we got to have integrity. And something else that I know that is part of that foundation is boundaries. And we have to create boundaries for ourselves. Go back to the top four, right? Well, besides yourself, like you have yourself, you have God, your husband, your kids, your business. And I always say, I deal with health and wellness. Ladies, don't take care of themselves. Don't put yourself at the bottom of that barrel. Because if you can't take care of yourself, like I said, if you don't have your health, we don't have anything. If mom isn't, if you have an empty cup, which I only have one of these up here. I love these little cups, but if you only have one of these and this sucker's empty, you got the outside, like you got the skin and bones. Like this is the framework of the sucker, and this is not going to provide me what its purpose is. This purpose is to fill me with a little bit of a drink. It's not going to do that. This is just the skin and bones to it. This is what a lot of women are, right? They're empty. They're hollow. You have to fill yourself up. That's why, that's why you love network marketing, because you're in a community with women. We were created for community. Do y'all know that we actually scientifically, or however you want to say it, God made, we feel the vibrations within 5 feet of everybody that we come in contact with. That's why in COVID, we were 6 feet apart. Think about that. We have to feel that. We have to be around each other. God created us to be community. It's part of your foundation. Yes, we have to. Yeah. Susan and I have never even met. Right, Susan? We've never even met. But there's still vibes that we can vibe off of each. Like I'm still feeling things. Like I'm still getting the chills. I'm still getting her energy, even in conversation.
Yeah.
Like we must have the boundaries where we're like, no, like my boys know, mom's going to her workout. I go to my workout Monday through Friday. Only on Mondays, it's an hour. Every other day, it's 95 minutes or 95 minutes. Lord help me. 45 minutes. They know.
Right.
They know if they're at school and they forget their lunch. They know if my husband is somewhere and he's like, OMG, I forgot my car keys or whatever. They know from 9 to 9:45 or 9 to 10, mom's doing a workout. Y'all, Colton, Weston, Ryland, Gabe, they want their mom to do their workout.
Right. Because right. Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you, Katie. I was going to ask you, I mean, like thinking about that, like, how would one know? I mean, it's very easy to know if you're not building on the right foundation. What does that look like?
Well, you're
I mean, I think we know the answer, right?
You're broke, busted, and disgusted. You're exhausted. You have if you sit there, you can't even think. You don't even have time to think. Everything seems out of order. You can't find your book, or I mean, this is a big one. This is going to sound so silly. You don't even remember when you text somebody, you don't even remember what you said to them.
Yeah.
Or if you're a high level leader and you're sending things out to your team or sending things out or whatever, you're not sending them. They're going out at the wrong time. Instead of an AM, they're going out at a PM. Like, these are all sneaky ways that the enemy comes in. You're not spelling things. And let me tell you, I was a special ed teacher, but I'm not English was not my first choice. So you're spelling things wrong. Like, all these little mishaps keep happening. Things keep falling, dropping through the cracks. Think about it.
Yeah.
Anything that's falling through a crack, it's not on a solid foundation. Think. Like,
Yeah.
I wish I
Right.
had
Exactly.
I wish I had my Legos. Like,
Yeah.
it's literally, if it's falling through a crack, it's
Yep.
because it's not solid.
Yes,
And for
exactly.
me,
Kind of
like, we want to keep it solid, because the more we build our foundation is the closer we get to ultimately, like I said, to that ultimate, like, where nothing's coming in on this. But girls, and I keep saying girls because I usually only talk to girls, and I'm sure there's mostly Susan's women's niche is girls.
yeah.
This is a daily practice. This isn't like,
Yeah.
yep, I got a firm foundation and poof, peace out, I'm done. This is daily.
Right. And I would suspect, because you and I have talked about this quite a bit, when there's chaos and confusion and all of those things, it's not to say that it's just, we always joke, like, wrong foundation,
Wrong
right?
foundation.
Katie and I have this ongoing inside joke, wrong foundation,
Wrong
right? When we're out of
foundation.
sorts. And it's not to say, sometimes we do have to take a step back, take a small step back in order to take a huge step forward. And so it's always good to kind of just, keep ourselves in check, and make sure that we are building things on the or on the right foundation, right? Which is God first, but that we also have systems in place for our business, I think, is what Katie's trying to say there as well, right? Otherwise, things are chaos, there's confusion, and we're a crazy person, and nobody likes to be around a crazy person, right? Would you agree?
That's why you have to work out too, so that you can get out the crazy, right? That's what I
Yeah,
always say.
right.
Like, that's what
Exactly.
they always say is get it out.
So, yeah. So I'm curious, Katie, what do you do when you find yourself in those moments where maybe, we have the strong foundation, but we're kind of starting to fall off the track a little bit? Like, what do you do? It's scripture reading. Is there a quote? Is there a verse? What do you do to get yourself back in alignment or back on track or back on that solid foundation? Yeah.
So it's definitely when those things happen, I'm like, I've learned that I need to take a breath, and I need to literally, like, put down everything. And I just need to get quiet. Like Susan was saying, just get quiet and be still, because the answers are in there. And one of my favorite verses that I will forever love is Proverbs 4:23. And it says, be careful, and it depends on which one you read, but it says, be careful how you think. Your life is shaped by your thoughts. And I always say that you got to quit your stinking thinking, or what you think about, you bring about. If you ask my boys, what's your mom's favorite quote? That's what they say. They put it on, all those Mother's Day things that they ever wrote at school. What's your mom's quote? It's literally what you think about, you bring about, because literally, what God says is, like, what's in our heart flows out of our mouth. And, and that's where, like, I have a strong, like, voice and presence because I have a strong heart, and it took me a long time to figure that out. But I promise you that what comes out of my mouth is spoken on truth, and it's not going to put death upon anything. It's not going to make up things. It's not going to lack integrity. And for some people, it's hard for them to handle. Like I was telling Susan, I've lost lots of friends as a kid. Can you imagine? I was like, and my mom was not me. And so she was opposite of me. And so I had to figure out who I was through that journey. Literally, it was my saving grace when I found my MLM, because we have to be so careful, you guys. And I always refer to it during my daily devotional is, even if your sink has, like, the faucet in your bathroom has a hairline fracture. Even think about, like, if your kid has a broken bone or something like that. But think about it, if there's just a little crack in your faucet. Yeah, you can turn off the water and, oh, it's not that bad. But over time, that little crack can cause, think about year after year after year. If nobody fixed that faucet, which can be the enemy just speaking just a little bit of, you can't do that. You're not good enough. Who are you to say that? Who are you to think that? They're not going to listen to you. They're not going to follow you. You're never going to be that $1 million brand. You're never going to have an impact. Like, it doesn't matter what it is that you say. And we hear this daily. The enemy is daily in us.
Yep.
So that faucet can cause damage forever and ever if you let it go forever and ever. And that's why I say you got to get rooted back. That's why I say you got to figure out who you're surrounding yourself with.
Yep.
That's what I said too. You might have to pluck out some things in your life. Yes, they may have helped you get to who you are and where you are today. Praise the Lord. I've had some of them. I've had a lot of them.
Yeah.
Very recently.
Yeah.
Okay. Very recently. A woman who changed the trajectory of my life. I had to let her go. There's reasons for the seasons.
Yeah.
But it's okay. And you know what the best news is I have no bitterness towards it. I have complete forgiveness because I know that the flesh comes in and I know that the enemy is there and it's okay. But you have to remember that you must stand in your authority that God gave you and stand in your foundation, because what you're building and what you're creating is there. God wants you to have, he wants to divide it and he wants to multiply it.
Yeah.
That's why Susan was talking earlier about the systems and all the things. That's quality. That's going to give people quality.
Yeah.
We want to bring in quality people to our business. I always used to say, I don't want to drag dead bodies. I don't want to drag dead bodies.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
We all laugh. We know what those people are.
Yeah.
That's what we're just taking. We're just,
right. And we're not desperate, right? We're not desperate. And so when we honor God first and we build on that strong foundation and we have integrity, right? Katie, we talk about this all the time. I mean, we just know. And if certain things don't align and it doesn't align. So here's the thing. If we profess that we are a believer and that we are walking with the Lord and we see these things, but we ignore it because we get into that desperate state, guess what? Wrong foundation. Right, Katie? Wrong foundation. And we will forever, that will forever be an inside joke with us.
Wrong foundation.
But wrong foundation. Like, we never want to work in desperation, because when we honor God first, he honors us. And so just know that it's, we always say one person, right? One person's not going to make or break you. If they're just not, right? God is big enough that he can bring 10 more in place of that person. And so, or whatever that situation might be.
And honestly, when you get rid of that person, I want you guys, or that place or that thing or whatever it is that's hindering you, that you feel like is like, man,
or that
or
thought,
not serving you, whatever's not serving you, if it's not serving you, when you get rid of that, and it happened to me 1.5 years ago, when I got rid, I say get rid, that sounds terrible, but when I let go, because I was like, oh my gosh, but they've helped me so much. But when I let go, I was 1,000 times blessed in an instant. So there's bad instances and there's good ones. It was in an instant that it happened. Yeah,
it's obedience too. It's obedience.
Obedience, that's the word I'm looking for. It is.
Yeah, it's obedience.
Like, Mom, I need my physical. You're supposed to send me my physical. See, real life network marketers, we know that. So it's obedience.
Yeah.
We have to be obedient. And that's where it comes in, where this Proverbs 4:23 comes in, because you got to watch your words.
Yeah.
Because instantly you can be like, it just takes us down. Our bodies, our brains were designed to automatically protect us. So we think it's negative. I just want you all to know that. Like, we go into that negative realm, and which can lead us down a deep, dark realm, but it's just a protection. So figure out, is it just our brain protecting us? Because God was like, ooh, put your hands up, don't get hit by the ball, or ooh, do this, whatever. Is it that type of protection, or is it God's protection? Because there's a big difference. There's a big difference. And even though, and I know being loyal, because I know women are going to be like, but they've been so loyal to me, right?
Yeah.
They could have been loyal to you, but if they are, if they're on the wrong foundation,
Well, that's true.
if they're building the wrong foundation, things can happen to them. You don't have a clue what's been going on in their back and behind their doors.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds crazy, but or whatever. We don't know what we don't know. And girls, that's where God's going to take care of them. That's the best part. God will take care of them. But now when you know better, and this is what I'll say, when you know better now.
Yeah, right.
You know better, you do better. And this is where your faith grows, and you're going to be like, this is amazing. This is amazing. And girls, this is like I can't reiterate enough. Susan and I daily have to walk this journey. Daily.
Yeah.
How do I get through it? I get through it not only by filling my cup up with the Lord, with going to my workouts, but it's also surrounding my people who are like-minded.
Yeah.
And so that I know, and girls, you're going to have to get vulnerable. And I don't think a woman, when you build that relationship with a good person of good values and good boundaries and good integrity, you can get vulnerable with them. Find your people. You don't need 25. You just need less than a handful that you can get vulnerable with and be like, girl, I'm having it rough right now. I had a call with a girl yesterday. She's like, Katie, can we just talk? Actually, I had 3 of them. God's crazy how he's doing this, but I had 3 of them. Katie, can I just call you today? I just need to talk to you.
Yeah.
Why? Not because I'm Katie Miller and I'm the God Almighty. No, because God, first of all, he sends them to us, but he knows, or they know, that I am rooted with strength and dignity, and they know my foundation. And they know that I'm not willing to wait as much as I try, as much as I want to, and much as I try to, I'm not willing to move from my foundation. Now, do sometimes things happen and I'm like, daggone it, wrong foundation. Yes, absolutely. But I go back and I try. That's the best thing. It's kind of like a baby. When our babies were learning to walk, we were teaching our babies. We could help them, but we couldn't make those muscles in their legs move. They had to fall down. They had to get up, right? And it wasn't like, well, you fell down once. I mean, you're going to do it again, so you're out, right?
Right.
That's how God looks at us. He's like, it's okay, baby girl. I know you realize it. Recognize it. That's what repentance is. Recognize it. Gosh, I am so sorry. I thought about that instantly. Think about me. There's times where I'm like, I got to pull those words back into my mouth. I'm like, that's not what I meant to say, And it's but it's a daily journey. And I know this can sound like a lot, but it's not supposed to sound like a lot. It literally is so simple. And I know even in network marketing, we talk about KISS. Keep it super simple. And that's literally what it is. Just let God kiss you. Let God. And if you don't have those people in your lives right now, or your business is struggling, or you want to get to the next, level, or whatever it is, or your leaders are leaving, or whatever it is, there's lots that can happen in network marketing. Let's be honest. And that can happen in business, period.
Yeah.
Take time. This is what I will say this is your homework. Is just, or for any of us, go be still. Be still, get a pen out, get your journal, put your phone as far away on airplane mode as possible, and just sit. I don't care if you sit for 5 minutes. I don't care if you sit for 5 hours, but learning the discipline of just getting still and listening. God has so much to say. And if you're not hearing him, it's because you're not listening and you're not getting still and you're not being quiet. Yeah. Truly. That's where your foundation starts.
So good, Katie. Oh my gosh, you guys. Is she not so amazing? It's something I know that she's so passionate about. And I think that the reason why Katie and I got along so good is because she knows we're both very stubborn, especially when it comes to our faith. That foundation.
The only reason I'm still alive.
We're not afraid to connect the other thing, right? We're not afraid to call each other out on our stuff. And you need people like that in your life, right? Like, girl, wrong foundation.
Wrong foundation. She'll be like, and I'll be like, but, and she's like, no. And I'm like, okay, Susan.
But I'm the same way.
But this only is because
Katie be like, okay. And I'm like, okay, I got it. So girls, what I'd love for you to do, if you could just drop something in the comments, just some affirmations, just affirm Katie today. She's been such an amazing, oh my gosh, she has shared so many amazing things with us today. And the other thing is, Katie, oh, hold on, you're frozen. I think you froze on me.
I'm here. I'm
okay.
here.
Okay.
I'm mothering as well as being podcasting. So
yeah. So I would love for you to just really quickly share with everybody what's next for you. I'd love for them to, where can they find you? They know they can find you on Facebook. I know, I think you've just launched a new guide. Can you share that really quickly with everybody?
Yeah. So I do have some things where I am launching. I'm starting actually next Wednesday. I'm doing at noon, you guys. I'm doing a live on my Facebook page. It's literally under Katie Miller. If you need it, you can just drop it in the comments that you need and would love me to do that. And I can drop it in the comments as well. I was on the stream and now I'm off because I'm getting texts that my son needs his physical to practice football. But anyways, so where you can find me is next Wednesday. I'm actually coming out with an announcement. I have partnered up with a company where I am going to be launching a 6-week program that I've actually been a part of for over 8 years, and it's absolutely amazing. So I'm going to share more about that next Wednesday. That'll be at noon on my Facebook page, and then my YouTube page as well. It's under Katie. Everything that I have is Katie Miller Wellness. And then I did just launch a new for you, 2 of them actually. One of them is one of my favorites. It's the top 5 red flags that your health and wellness needs a wake-up call. And if you're on this podcast and any of this has resonated with you, you definitely need to grab that, because a lot of what we chatted about in this podcast is chatted about in that guide. And then my other guide is a intermittent fasting guide, because fasting is biblical and it's also very, very beneficial for your wellness. If you need energy, or inflammation, less inflammation, things like that. I know a lot of us women strive for energy. You can find out more about that as well in that guide. So lots of fun things happening. I'm so excited.
I love that. It's great. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. I have to just kind of dab my nose. I'm going to have stuff coming down my face here. Katie, thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. And you know what? I can't wait to see you guys next week. We have another amazing, amazing speaker. And we're going to be talking a little bit more about mindset. So Mindset Matters with Dr. Sarah Earle. So I'm super excited to have her with us next week.
I love Sarah.
Yeah.
Sarah.
And if you'd like to be on the podcast, just drop that in the comments. If you are an entrepreneur, you're a direct seller, network marketer, maybe you're an entrepreneur and you're crushing it in your business and you have something that you'd love to share, we'd love to feature you on the show, and just drop it in the comments and we'll get the link to you. But thank you, Katie, for being here today. And we'll see you guys next time. Okay. Next week.
Bye, girls.
Bye, guys.
Thank you so much.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Bye.
We're gonna try and leave, but I have